Hey coin collectors, did you know that 7 Jefferson Monticello nickels have the potential to make you a millionaire? That's right, some of these ultra-rare coins have an unbelievable worth. Stick around as we reveal the top 7 most valuable Jefferson nickels that could be hiding in your collection. Trust me, you won't want to miss these incredible finds. Let's jump in. Number 1. Today we're going to talk about one of the most intriguing and valuable nickels in U.S. history. The 1964 Jefferson Monticello nickel with the 1964D mint mark on the reverse. Now, to many, this might sound like just another 5-cent coin, but trust me, this coin is far more than meets the eye. It's a rare piece of history that could be hiding in your collection, or even in your pocket change right now. Stick with me as we dive into what makes this coin so special, and why it could be worth a small fortune. First, let's set the scene. The year is 1964. America is in the midst of great social and political change. The Civil Rights Act is signed into law, the space race is pushing humanity to new frontiers, and millions of coins, including the Jefferson Monticello nickel, are being minted by the U.S. Mint. At first glance, this nickel appears to be just another routine piece of currency, but there's something different about a particular group of 1964 Jefferson nickels. A small, yet fascinating detail that makes them incredibly rare. Here's where it gets interesting. Some 1964 Jefferson nickels were struck with a reverse die that carried a unique mint mark placement, the D mint mark, which is usually found on the obverse side of the coin, was accidentally struck on the reverse side instead. This small but significant error makes the coin highly sought after by collectors, as it's a mistake that didn't occur often. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. How big of a deal is this error really? Well, in the world of numismatics, even the smallest mistake can have a huge impact on value. This error coin, the 1964 Jefferson nickel with the 1964D mint mark on the reverse, is considered one of the most valuable error coins of the era. Finding one of these in good condition could mean you're holding a coin worth far more than its face value. The challenge, however, is identifying these rare coins. It's not just a simple matter of spotting a D mint mark. Remember, the D should be on the reverse, not the obverse. To spot it, you'll need to carefully examine the reverse side of your coin. This requires a keen eye and, often, a magnifying glass or a high-quality camera to zoom in on the details. But once you spot it, you'll know you've found something truly special. But how much is a 1964 Jefferson Monticello nickel with the 1964D mint mark on the reverse worth? Well, this is where the excitement really kicks in. Error coins like this can be incredibly valuable, especially if they're in great condition. Coins that are well preserved, with little wear and tear, can fetch a significant premium. In fact, one of these rare error coins recently sold for an astounding $68,000 at auction. Yes, you heard that correctly, $68,000 for a single coin. Imagine that, a nickel worth $68,000. That's a huge return on something that's worth just 5 cents in regular circulation. This incredible auction price just goes to show how much collectors are willing to pay for a rare and valuable piece of history. So, what does that mean for you? Well, if you've got any 1964 Jefferson nickels in your collection, it might be time to take a closer look. One of these rare error coins could be hiding in your collection, or even in your spare change, just waiting to be discovered. So, what should you do if you think you've found one of these rare 1964D reverse mint marked nickels? First, take the time to carefully examine it. Look for the D mint mark on the reverse side, and make sure the coin is in good condition. If you're unsure about its authenticity, you can always take it to a professional coin grader for an expert opinion. After all, a high-quality example of this coin could be worth far more than the price of a new car. In conclusion, the 1964 Jefferson Monticello nickel with the 1964D mint mark on the reverse is a true hidden gem in the world of coin collecting. It's an example of how a small error, one that went unnoticed for years, can create something incredibly valuable. If you happen to stumble upon one of these coins, you could be holding a rare piece of history that's worth tens of thousands of dollars. So, next time you're sifting through your coins or browsing through a collection, don't forget to look for this rare 1964D reverse error nickel. You might just discover a treasure that's worth far more than 5 cents. Happy collecting, and who knows, maybe your next coin hunt will turn up a rare find worth a small fortune. Number 2. Welcome, coin collectors, history buffs, and numismatics enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in the history of the United States, the 1943 Jefferson Monticello nickel. If you're a collector, you've likely heard about this coin, but you might not realize just how rare and valuable it truly is. Stick with us as we break down what makes this particular nickel so exceptional, and you'll also discover another 5-cent coin that might just surprise you with its incredible auction price. First, let's set the stage. The year is 1943. The United States is in the midst of World War II, and the country's economy is heavily focused on wartime production. During this time, copper and other essential metals were in high demand for military purposes, which led the U.S. Mint to make a drastic decision. They would switch the composition of the 5-cent nickel. Instead of the usual copper and nickel blend, the 1943 nickel was made using a mixture of silver, manganese, and copper, a necessity at the time due to wartime shortages. So, what's so special about this particular coin? Well, while the change in composition may seem minor, it led to the creation of one of the rarest and most sought-after nickels in American history. The 1943 Jefferson Monticello nickel is rare because, unlike other years, only a very small number of these coins were struck using the silver-manganese-copper mix. While millions of other 1943 nickels were minted with this composition, some coins mistakenly ended up being made with the regular, pre-war nickel alloy. And those particular coins? Well, they've become a treasure hunt for collectors. Now, let's talk about the find. Imagine sifting through a pile of change, and you come across a 1943 nickel that looks different from the rest. Upon closer inspection, you realize that it's made of the rare silver mix. You're holding a piece of history in your hand. This mistake, this rare variant of the 1943 nickel, makes all the difference, and it's a coin that can easily fetch thousands of dollars at auction. But how do you tell the difference between a regular 1943 nickel and the rare silver-manganese-copper version? It's all about weight. The regular nickels weigh about 5 grams, while the rare ones, made of the wartime mix, are slightly heavier, coming in at about 5.5 grams. The difference is small, but it's enough to identify the rare coins. If you find one, you'll want to check the weight using a precise scale. But remember, they're incredibly rare, and finding one of these can be like striking gold in your pocket change. Now, you might be wondering, how much could a rare 1943 Monticello nickel be worth? Here's the thrilling part. These coins have sold for some jaw-dropping prices at auction. Depending on their condition, a rare 1943 silver alloy nickel could bring anywhere from $9,000 to a staggering $97,000. Yes, you heard that right, up to $97,000 for a single nickel. If that doesn't get your heart racing, I don't know what will. Imagine having one of these coins sitting in your collection, or, better yet, finding one in your spare change. The potential value is enormous, and it's a reminder that even the smallest of coins can carry monumental value, especially when they hold historical significance. But the 1943 Jefferson Monticello nickel isn't the only 5-cent coin with a remarkable story. Let's talk about the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, another coin that's a true treasure in the world of numismatics. Only 5 known specimens of the 1913 Liberty Head nickel exist, and they're considered one of the rarest coins in the world. In fact, the highest price ever paid for one of these coins was a jaw-dropping $3.7 million at auction. That's right, $3.7 million for a single nickel. It's incredible to think about the sheer value some of these coins hold, and they're proof that in the world of rare coins, anything is possible. Now, back to our 1943 Monticello nickel. While most of these coins will sell for a much lower price than the extreme high end, the potential for a major payoff is still there for those who happen to find one. And remember, the condition of the coin matters a lot. Coins that are well preserved, without much wear, can fetch far more than those with significant damage, so, how can you increase your chances of finding a rare 1943 Jefferson Monticello nickel or any other highly sought-after coins? Well, it comes down to diligence and knowledge. Start by examining your change carefully, checking out coin shows, and staying up to date on auctions. The world of numismatics is one filled with incredible opportunities for those who know what they're looking for. It's a thrilling world of history, treasure, and the occasional lucky find. In conclusion, the 1943 Jefferson Monticello nickel is a prime example of how a seemingly ordinary coin can have extraordinary value when it's tied to a unique historical context and an accidental mistake. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, the thrill of hunting down rare coins is what keeps this hobby so exciting. And as we've seen, some coins can fetch incredible auction prices, sometimes even tens of thousands of dollars. So, next time you're checking your change, don't just look for the usual pennies and dimes. Keep an eye out for those rare nickels. You just might be holding the next great treasure. Number 3. Today, we're going to explore one of the most fascinating and valuable coins ever minted by the United States, the 1939 Jefferson Monticello nickel. Now, if you're a true numismatics fan, you've probably heard of this coin. But if you haven't, buckle up, because what we're about to dive into will leave you amazed by its rarity and jaw-dropping value. Let's take a quick trip back to 1939. The United States was in the midst of the Great Depression, and the economy was still trying to recover from the aftermath of the stock market crash a decade earlier. Despite the economic challenges, the U.S. Mint continued to produce coins, and the Jefferson nickel was one of the coins in circulation at the time. The nickel itself, featuring Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his iconic Monticello home on the reverse, was designed by Felix Schlag and had been in circulation since 1938. But 1939 was different. This year introduced a rare variety that would make it one of the most coveted coins in the numismatic world today. What makes the 1939 Jefferson Monticello nickel so special? It's a combination of history, a minor minting error, and the rarity of surviving specimens. You see, the 1939 nickel is particularly rare because a very small number of these coins were struck with an interesting feature, a double die obverse. This means that the obverse, particularly the date, was struck twice, giving it a noticeable doubling effect. This isn't just a minor issue, it's an error that significantly affects the coin's value and desirability among collectors. But what does this mean for the average person? How can you identify a rare 1939 nickel among a sea of regular coins? It's all about looking closely at the date. On a regular 1939 Jefferson nickel, the date should look clear and crisp. However, in the case of the double die obverse variety, the 1939 is noticeably doubled, especially the numbers 9 and 3. This subtle error might be hard to spot at first, but when you look closely, you'll see the doubling effect. A coin with this error is considered extremely valuable, especially in high-grade condition. Now, you might be wondering, how do these coins become so valuable? The value of any rare coin, like the 1939 Jefferson nickel, is determined by its rarity, its condition, and the demand for it in the market. In the case of this particular nickel, the combination of a very small number of double die errors and the coin's age makes it a must-have for serious collectors. And while you might think that the 1939 Jefferson nickel is just a small coin worth 5 cents, this rare error coin can fetch a price that would make any coin collector's heart race. Let's talk about some of the amazing auction prices these rare coins can command. In the right condition, graded as high as MS65 or better, a 1939 Jefferson Monticello nickel with the double die obverse can fetch anywhere from $2,000 to $68,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $68,000 for a single 5-cent coin. This makes it one of the most valuable nickels ever minted, and it's certainly a coin worth keeping an eye out for. You might be thinking, how is this even possible for a 5-cent coin? Well, it's all about rarity and demand. The fewer coins there are in existence with such an error, the more valuable they become. Collectors go crazy for these kinds of pieces, especially when they have historical significance and are tied to a specific moment in time, like the Great Depression. Plus, these era coins have a certain mystique about them. They're like little pieces of history that were almost lost in the shuffle of ordinary coins. But what makes these coins even more exciting is how they can turn up in the most unexpected places. You might be digging through a box of old coins from a yard sale, or sifting through a jar of change in your own home, and bam, you find a 1939 nickel that looks a bit different. That little doubling effect on the date might just be the sign of something truly valuable. And that's the thrill of coin collecting. You never know when you're going to strike gold. If you find one of these rare 1939 double-die era nickels, what should you do next? First, resist the temptation to spend it. You'll want to carefully check the condition of the coin. Even the slightest wear can reduce its value, so if it's in good shape, consider having it professionally graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. Getting your coin graded will give you an official assessment of its condition and could dramatically increase its value when it hits the market. As with any rare coin, condition is everything. The better the grade, the higher the price it will command. Coins that are graded in mint state, meaning they have little to no signs of wear, are considered the most valuable. If your 1939 Jefferson nickel happens to be one of these pristine specimens, you're holding a rare piece of American history in your hands, and the potential to make a substantial profit is very real. So, what's the bottom line? The 1939 Jefferson Monticello nickel with the double-die obverse error is one of the most sought-after coins in the world. Whether you're a collector looking to add a gem to your collection or someone just discovering the excitement of coin hunting, this coin is a thrilling find. And with auction prices ranging from $2,000 to a staggering $68,000, it's a coin that could make your collection, and your bank account, shine. In conclusion, the 1939 Jefferson Monticello nickel is a prime example of how even a small mistake in the minting process can lead to a coin that is incredibly valuable, historically significant, and highly sought after. So, next time you're looking through your spare change or browsing at a coin show, keep your eyes peeled for this rare treasure. You might just have the find of a lifetime. Number 4. Today, we're diving into a true gem of American numismatics, the 1952 Jefferson Monticello nickel. At first glance, it might seem like just another regular 5-cent piece, but dig a little deeper, and you'll discover it's one of the most valuable and fascinating coins in U.S. history. So, if you're into rare coins or just curious about what makes some coins so special, this video is for you. Let's start by going back to 1952. The United States was in the middle of the post-World War II era, and the economy was beginning to boom. People were getting back to work, families were growing, and consumer goods were on the rise. During this time, the U.S. Mint was hard at work producing coins, including the famous Jefferson nickel, which had been in circulation since 1938. Designed by Felix Schlag, the nickel features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, with his iconic home, Monticello, on the reverse, but here's where things get interesting. While the 1952 Jefferson nickel looks like any other from the 1950s, it's actually home to a very rare and valuable variety that has become the holy grail for collectors. The key to this rare coin lies in the subtle differences in its minting, specifically in its die variety. And when we're talking about rare coins, every tiny detail counts. So, what makes this coin so valuable? Well, in the world of coin collecting, some years and mint marks are simply more valuable than others because of factors like mintage numbers, errors, and historical significance. The 1952 Jefferson nickel is one of those rare examples. You see, while most 1952 nickels were struck as normal with the standard design, there's a very special version that was made with a prooflike finish, giving the coin a much more reflective, mirror-like surface. These coins weren't part of the regular circulation, and only a small number were produced. Now, to the untrained eye, it might just look like a regular nickel. But for serious collectors, the proof-like finish sets it apart. You see, these coins were struck with specially polished dies, which resulted in a coin with a sharp, crisp design and an almost mirror-like surface. The quality of the strike, combined with the rarity of the coin, makes it an incredibly valuable find today. In fact, finding a 1952 Jefferson nickel in excellent proof-like condition is an achievement for any collector. But, as with all rare coins, it's about more than just finding it. The condition of the coin matters greatly. Coins that are well preserved and show minimal wear will always fetch a higher price at auction. A high-grade 1952 Jefferson nickel in proof-like condition is not just a rare find, but also a treasure worth holding on to. So, how much could a 1952 Jefferson Monticello nickel fetch at auction? Well, if you happen to find one of these rare coins in mint condition, you could be looking at an auction price between $20,000 to $38,000. Yes, that's right, up to $38,000 for a single nickel. It's incredible to think that a coin worth only 5 cents in 1952 could now be worth tens of thousands of dollars. But it all comes down to rarity, demand, and the condition of the coin. Now, if you're lucky enough to have one of these coins or find one in your collection, how can you ensure you're getting the best possible value for it? Well, the first thing you'll want to do is get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Having your coin graded not only gives it an official certification of authenticity, but it also gives you a clear idea of its condition and market value. Remember, a coin in perfect condition will always be worth much more than one that has seen a lot of wear and tear. And what makes this story even more exciting is that these rare 1952 proof-like nickels don't just turn up every day. Imagine stumbling upon one in a box of old coins you inherited or while going through your spare change. You'd have a rare treasure on your hands, and that's exactly what makes coin collecting so thrilling. It's like hunting for hidden gems in the real world. But here's something even more fascinating to consider. The 1952 Jefferson nickel isn't the only rare and valuable 5-cent coin in existence. The 1950 Jefferson nickel, for example, is another highly sought-after coin, and some of these have sold for over $100,000 in pristine condition. It's a reminder that sometimes, the most unassuming coins can be worth a fortune, and all it takes is knowing what to look for. So, next time you're flipping through a jar of coins, or you find an old roll of nickels tucked away in your attic, take the time to examine each coin carefully. The 1952 Jefferson Monticello nickel might be just a regular 5-cent piece to most, but to the right person, it could be a treasure worth thousands of dollars. And who knows, your next coin might just be the one that changes everything. In conclusion, the 1952 Jefferson Monticello nickel is a true gem of American numismatics, and its rarity and value have made it a must-have for collectors. With a price tag of up to $38,000 for a high-grade proof-like example, it's a coin that can turn a small investment into a huge windfall. So, the next time you check your change or visit a coin show, keep your eyes peeled for this rare and valuable piece of history. You never know what you might find. Number 5. Today, we're about to take a deep dive into one of the most fascinating and valuable nickels in U.S. history, the 1960 Jefferson Monticello nickel. If you think all nickels are the same, think again, because this one has a hidden rarity that has made it incredibly sought after by numismatics enthusiasts all over the world. Grab your magnifying glass, because what we're about to uncover could change how you look at pocket change forever. Let's set the scene. It's 1960. The United States is in a period of post-war economic growth, and the country is rapidly changing. The 1950s had been a time of prosperity, and by the 1960s, the U.S. Mint was busy producing coins for regular circulation. The Jefferson nickel, which had been in circulation since 1938, was still one of the most common coins in people's pockets. It featured the portrait of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, with the image of his home, Monticello, on the reverse. Now, while most 1960 Jefferson nickels were struck with the usual design and composition, there's a rare and valuable die variety that makes the 1960 nickel stand out among the rest. You might be asking, what's so special about the 1960 Jefferson nickel? Well, here's where it gets exciting. Some 1960 nickels were struck with a overmint mark error, and when we say error, we mean a mistake that turned into a highly prized collectible. So, what does an overmint mark error mean? Let's break it down. When the U.S. Mint produces coins, they strike them using metal dies, and each die is stamped with the mint mark that indicates where the coin was produced. In 1960, the mint mark for coins produced at the Denver Mint was a small d. However, due to a mistake in the minting process, a small number of 1,960 nickels were struck with a D mint mark over a S mint mark, meaning they were accidentally stamped with two mint marks, one on top of the other. This resulted in a rare variety known as the 1960 D over S Jefferson nickel. The double mint mark is subtle but very noticeable under magnification, and it's a real treasure for collectors who know what to look for. Finding this error on a 1960 nickel is like stumbling upon a hidden gem in a sea of ordinary coins. It's the kind of discovery that has coin collectors buzzing with excitement. But how can you identify a 1960 D over S Jefferson nickel? It's all about the mint mark. If you have a 1960 nickel in your collection, you'll want to closely examine the mint mark, which is located on the reverse, just to the right of Monticello. In the case of the over mint mark error, you'll see both the D and S mint marks stacked on top of each other. The bottom mint mark is the S, while the D is clearly visible on top. This is a key indicator that you've found one of the rarest varieties of this coin. Now, we know what you're thinking. How much could this rare 1960 D over S Jefferson nickel be worth? Well, brace yourself, because the price might just blow your mind. A well-preserved example of this era coin can easily fetch anywhere from $2,500 to $58,000 at auction, depending on its condition. Yes, you heard that right, up to $58,000 for a single nickel. It's truly astonishing how a coin worth just 5 cents when it was first minted can be worth tens of thousands of dollars today. But what makes this coin so valuable? It all boils down to the rarity of the error. While the 1960 D over S nickels were produced by the thousands, very few of them survived in mint condition, and even fewer were recognized as a unique error. That's why collectors are so eager to get their hands on these rare varieties. Plus, the fact that it's an error coin, something that was never intended to happen, adds a layer of intrigue and excitement for collectors who love a good numismatic mystery. So, if you happen to find one of these coins, how can you ensure that it's worth the highest price possible? First, make sure to examine the coin's condition carefully. Coins that are in mint state, meaning they show little to no signs of wear, are always more valuable. If you believe you've found one of these rare 1960 D over S nickels, it's a good idea to have it professionally graded by a trusted grading service, such as PCGS or NGC. Grading will give the coin a professional assessment of its quality and help determine its true market value. And here's another tip. Be sure to look through your spare change or browse through old coin collections because these rare finds are often discovered in unexpected places. You never know when you might stumble upon a coin that could be worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. Coin collecting is all about patience, attention to detail, and sometimes a bit of luck. If you've been collecting for years or just started, always keep your eyes peeled for the rarest of the rare. Now, you might be wondering, what's the competition like for these rare 1960 nickels? Well, let me tell you, it's fierce. Collectors from all over the world are constantly searching for these elusive coins. Coin shows, online auctions, and dealer shops are buzzing with buyers looking for a 1960 D over S Jefferson nickel. So, if you come across one, don't wait. Get it graded and listed, because you could be sitting on a small fortune. To wrap up, the 1960 D over S Jefferson Monticello nickel is one of those coins that shows just how fascinating the world of numismatics can be. A simple mistake at the US Mint resulted in a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors for decades, and now it's worth up to $58,000. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just starting out, finding one of these rare coins can be a thrilling experience that might just change your life. So, keep looking through your change, keep hunting through your collections, and you never know, you might just find a 1960 D over S nickel that's worth a lot more than you thought. Happy collecting! Number 6. Today, we're going to talk about one of the more exciting and valuable coins in US history, the 1985 D Jefferson Monticello nickel. It may sound like just another modern coin, but trust me, This particular nickel holds a rare secret that could make it worth a small fortune. So, let's dive in and uncover the mystery behind this hidden gem. The year is 1985, and the United States is in the midst of a booming economy. The Cold War is still ongoing, and people are spending their change without much thought. For most of us, nickels were just a 5-cent piece, easy to overlook as we went about our daily lives. The Jefferson nickel has been in circulation since 1938, and in 1985, the design remained the same, featuring President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his home, Monticello, on the reverse. But little did most people know, this year's coins would hold a secret that would take decades to discover. What makes the 1985 Jefferson nickel so valuable is something called the double die reverse error. You might be asking, what does that mean? Well, let me explain. When the U.S. Mint strikes coins, it uses metal dies to imprint the design onto the coin. These dies are struck multiple times to ensure the design is crisp and clear. However, when something goes wrong with the minting process, when the dies are improperly aligned or the coin is struck more than once, the result is an error, and those errors can be extremely valuable. In the case of the 1985 Jefferson nickel, the error in question is a double die reverse, meaning that the reverse side of the coin, featuring Monticello, was struck twice. The result? A slight doubling of the features on the reverse, including Monticello itself and the surrounding details. To the untrained eye, it might just look like a regular coin, but to a seasoned collector, this doubled image is the key to a highly sought-after and valuable piece of numismatic history. Now, you might be wondering, how do you spot this double die error? The key is to look carefully at the reverse side of the coin, specifically around Monticello. If you closely examine the coin, you'll notice that the details, particularly the columns of Monticello, show a faint but noticeable doubling effect. This is a sure sign that you've found a rare 1985 double die reverse nickel. If you've got a magnifying glass or a loupe, it will make spotting this error much easier. But here's the really exciting part. This particular variety of 1985 Jefferson nickel is incredibly valuable. When it comes to coin collecting, rarity and condition are everything, and this coin has both. In high-grade condition, a 1985 double die reverse nickel can fetch anywhere from $5,000 to $37,000 at auction. Yes, $37,000 for a 5-cent coin. It's amazing to think that a coin worth just 5 cents back in 1985 could now be worth tens of thousands of dollars. And it all comes down to the rarity of the double die error and the fact that so few of these coins are in pristine condition. You might be asking, how does something like this even happen? Well, the double die error occurs when a coin die is improperly aligned during the minting process, or if it's struck twice without being recentered. This results in the doubling effect that makes these coins so desirable to collectors. Because the 1985 Jefferson nickel wasn't intended to have this error, it's considered a mintage anomaly, and coins like this are highly prized. Now, let's talk about how you can identify this rare coin in your own collection. While most 1985 Jefferson nickels are worth just a few cents, if you find one with the double die reverse error, you could be looking at something worth thousands of dollars. The key thing to look for is the double detail on the reverse. Pay close attention to the lines of Monticello, the columns, and the details around the building. If they appear to have a slight, blurry second impression, that's your clue that you've found a rare coin. If you happen to find one of these valuable coins, don't rush to spend it. Take your time and carefully examine the condition of the coin. Coins in excellent condition, especially those with minimal wear, will be worth much more. For coins like this, having them professionally graded by a service like PCGS or NGC is a good idea. Professional grading will give the coin a certification of authenticity and can significantly increase its value. But here's something even more exciting. These rare coins often pop up in the most unexpected places. Imagine going through a jar of loose change or finding an old roll of coins at a garage sale. That could be the moment you come across a 1985 double die reverse nickel that could change your life. Coin collecting is all about being patient and being ready for that unexpected find, and sometimes, it's the little things that lead to the biggest rewards. If you've got your eyes set on collecting the 1985D double die reverse nickel, you're in for a rewarding experience. The thrill of finding such a rare and valuable coin is one of the things that makes coin collecting so much fun. But remember, it's not just about the value, it's about preserving a piece of history. The 1985D Jefferson nickel is a symbol of the mistakes, the oddities, and the rare treasures that make numismatics such an exciting hobby. In conclusion, the 1985D Jefferson Monticello nickel with the double die reverse error is one of the most valuable and rare coins you can find. With auction prices reaching up to $37,000, it's no wonder that collectors are on the lookout for this hidden gem. So, the next time you're going through your coin collection or checking your change, keep a close eye on those nickels. You might just find one of the rarest and most valuable coins in American history. Happy collecting! Number 7. Today, we have an exciting journey ahead as we explore the fascinating world of the 1974 Jefferson Monticello nickel. This particular coin might seem like just another nickel from the 1970s, but there's a rare twist to it that makes it one of the most valuable and sought-after nickels in U.S. history. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone interested in the hidden treasures that circulate in your pocket change, this video will have you on the edge of your seat. Let's rewind to 1974. The United States was in a time of change. The nation had just come out of the tumultuous 1960s and was moving through the 1970s with both challenges and triumphs. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint was producing coins like the Jefferson nickel as part of regular circulation. Featuring President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his estate, Monticello, on the reverse, this nickel had been a familiar part of American life since 1938. However, there's a rare twist to the 1974 Jefferson nickel that has made it a prized find for coin collectors. What makes the 1974 Jefferson nickel so rare and valuable? The answer lies in a small, almost unnoticed error that occurred during the minting process. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for coins with unique characteristics or errors, whether it's a misstrike, a doubling, or some other anomaly that sets a coin apart from the others. In the case of the 1974 Jefferson nickel, the error that made this coin so valuable is known as a double die reverse. Now, what exactly is a double die reverse error? This happens when a coin die, the metal stamp used to imprint the design onto the coin, is misaligned or strikes the coin more than once. The result? A doubling effect on the design, which in the case of the 1974 Jefferson nickel, specifically affects the reverse side. If you take a closer look at the reverse of the 1974 nickel, you might notice doubling in the details of Monticello itself, especially around the building's columns and the surrounding inscription. To the casual observer, it might just look like a regular nickel, but for numismatists, this doubling is a clear sign that the coin was part of a rare and valuable minting error. The 1974 double die reverse nickel is considered one of the most prized error coins of the 1970s, and it's the kind of find that makes collectors' hearts race with excitement. So, how do you spot one of these rare coins in your collection? The key is to examine the reverse side, particularly the building details of Monticello. Under magnification, you should be able to see that the design has been doubled, creating a ghosted effect. The doubling is most noticeable in the vertical columns of Monticello and the lettering surrounding the building. The effect can range from subtle to quite prominent, but even a slight doubling makes this coin worth a lot more than face value. Now, you might be wondering, just how much is this rare 1974 double die reverse nickel worth? Well, hold on to your seats, because this is where things get really interesting. If you happen to have a well-preserved 1974 nickel with the double die reverse error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Coins like this, especially in high-grade condition, have been known to sell for as much as $52,000 at auction. Yes, you heard that right, $52,000 for a 5-cent coin that's over 4 decades old. It's incredible to think that a coin that was originally minted with a face value of just 5 cents could now command such an astounding price. But what makes the 1974 double die reverse nickel so valuable? The rarity of the error is what makes it so special. There weren't a lot of these coins struck with the double die reverse, and even fewer have survived in high-grade condition. Collectors are always on the lookout for error coins, and the 1974 double-die reverse nickel has become one of the most sought-after examples of this type of error. If you find one of these coins, you could be in for a huge windfall. But before you start counting your money, let's talk about the condition of the coin. Just like with any rare and valuable collectible, the condition of the coin plays a significant role in determining its value. A coin in mint or near mint condition, meaning it shows little to no signs of wear, will always fetch a higher price than one that has been heavily circulated. So, if you come across one of these rare coins, make sure to keep it in pristine condition, and remember, if you're serious about selling or buying one of these coins, it's always a good idea to get it professionally graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. Having the coin graded not only verifies its authenticity but also gives it an official grade that will help determine its market value. Grading can also help increase the coin's appeal to other collectors, which can make a big difference when it comes time to sell. Now, let's talk about the thrill of discovering these rare coins. Coin collecting is all about patience and persistence, and sometimes, those rare finds come when you least expect them. You might be going through a roll of nickels, or perhaps you've inherited an old coin collection, and then, boom! You spot that distinctive doubling on the reverse of the 1974 nickel. It's moments like these that make coin collecting so exciting. The chance to discover a rare treasure that others might overlook is what keeps collectors constantly searching for the next great find. In conclusion, the 1974 Jefferson Monticello nickel with the double-die reverse error is one of the most valuable and rare coins of the 1970s, with auction prices reaching as high as $52,000. Whether you're an experienced collector or just starting out, finding one of these coins can be a life-changing experience. So, the next time you're going through your change or sorting through old coins, take a moment to look closely at your 1974 nickels. You might just find a hidden gem that could turn your collection into something truly extraordinary. Happy hunting, and happy collecting!